And then, like, whether you believe in a spiritual path of next life or heaven or whatever you believe in, but the core thing, we all want to be happy. Like all being, not just myself, even an ant or like a dog. Every being, the core similarity of all of us is the happiness. And what more joyous thing to live for, hoping for happiness than, so I think that in itself is a joyful thing to hope for. And without the hope, we all are looking for something that is more brighter than what we have been yesterday. We want to be a better being than better manifestation of yourself from yesterday. So, that's a nice, a joyful thing to go forward, isn't it? That's making every moment is a joyful moment of becoming a better being or better human being, I think. And at the same time, I've got a little more advantage because I'll go on living.
Just kidding. I need to rethink my philosophies, I think.
And I know you have to go soon.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to take time. If anyone has got any question before Gaudi goes on the amphitheater stage, that would be... is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We got one up the back here. Is there a hot mic that we've got? How do we both process grief? Yeah, that's a great question. With great difficulty, I guess, is the short answer. Probably my first real experience of, as I was growing up, I knew people who'd passed away, but my first experience of pretty devastating grief was my grandmother passing away. And she lived a long and happy life, and I think that always makes it easier because there feels like less kind of unanswered questions or less outrage, than when it's someone who's you feel life has been cut short. But I started to kind of think about grief. I've used this word a little bit too much today, but as kind of a privilege, like as this protected time that my grandma would visit me in my dreams constantly, and I was sort of felt like I was watching our life as a little film reel, and it felt devastating because it's just all this stuff that's been, that you'll never experience again. But I found that stopping resisting it was kind of my way through it, and sort of accepting it as something really beautiful, not something that I should be running away from. It was a time where, because the further away I have gotten from her death, the less frequently I think about her, which also makes me really sad, but I think that's kind of the way life works. And so I was very conscious in those weeks and months of feeling like, these feelings aren't going to last forever. All these memories flooding my head constantly aren't going to be doing this for years to come. So in a strange way, I tried to enjoy it. I tried to enjoy the grief. I tried to enjoy all the parts of it. And I felt myself move through all of those stages. But I think that the way I continue to process it is by talking about her with people I love and also people I don't know. What about you?
For me, I think Gauri already answered for us, all of us. I think, in a way, by paying gratitude to those who have passed is the best way to grieve. Paying, like, the way I was talking about my mom and dad, it was because I wanted to pay my gratitude for bringing me into this world. And for Gauri, probably that was the case as well, paying the gratitude to grandma. And like, it's one of the most joyous thing that you can do is pay gratitude. And what we just did, like a lot of us at Woodford were doing, paying gratitude to a being who just passed away a couple of weeks ago, Bill Horrocks. Like, we were paying our gratitude in a joyful way. Like yesterday there was one person saying, oh, Bill must have been that. There was one, what was it? Like a black cockatoo flying up at the hilltop, making a sound, like singing away. And then this person came to me and said, oh, that must be Bill watching over us and making sure that the weather is good for all of us. So, that thought itself, when she said that, I'm sure she's paying gratitude to his work, his legacy. So we all beings, I think we are capable of that compassion to pay that gratitude to the beings.
That might be my time. If anyone feels like hearing some music, I'll be playing in the Amphiground at 3:40, but I must go. But thank you so much for your attention, and I'll leave you in these capable hands.
Okay, so God is gone. Can you give her a big hand, please? And we've got 15 minutes, and if you want to go and see her right after this, please rush over to Gaudi at Amphigrand. But in the meantime, we have 15 minutes or 10 minutes. If you have questions, then I'm happy to answer. But if you don't have, I'm happy to also go as well.
Hi, Tenzin.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, you didn't know each other.
No.
How did it come about? How did this session actually come about? Did someone approach you? Or?
It was beautiful thought of the program managers, and said, oh, what would you like to... We have this session, what would you like to talk about? And I said, oh, living and dying joyfully. And then we were put together, and we haven't met. So that's how, as Woodford is amazing at programming some spontaneous things. It was programmed. We knew we were coming here, but we have never met before. So, and we just met 2 minutes before we got on stage. So, anyway. Oh, you can...
So with the presence of death can also come a relief. And there can be a lot of joy in being surrounded by loved ones, and a lot of joy that is there in the absence of the other person. And I'm wondering if at times guilt and joy also need to be reconciled.
I think you answered it with that question itself, whether it needs to be reconciled. And in that itself is the answer. Yes, it does need to be reconciled. And other than that, I don't think I have any wisdom outside what you already know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's around reincarnation. I would like to die in a really amazing, happy moment in the hopes that my next life is really awesome. Can you speak to how we're feeling in that death moment? Does that affect how we reincarnate?
It does. It does affect, like dying peacefully does affect the mental, because it's a continuous journey of this consciousness. So dying peacefully does affect the journey that you are going to go forward without the body. So it does have that. It does affect it. Does that make? Yeah. It's just like this morning when you woke up, and then went to get the lunch. Between that time, you have to have a travel, and a joyous travel to that will lead to the next destination, wherever you are going, in a more joyful and more positive way. Yeah.
Thank you for the speech. I have a question about how to look at sadness. And would you like to further explain how to look at sadness instead of being sad? And other question is it applicable to other negative emotion like anger and I don't know, and maybe any negative emotion? Okay. Yeah, this is my question.
I think I did answer before about the sadness. It's any emotion don't become that emotion. Instead, feel that emotion. And then, emotions like the thoughts that arises the emotion. So let it, don't become it. I think, yeah. Even happiness, yeah. Like if you want to, like, you have to find the equanimity, a balanced state of being. Like even happiness, over happiness can lead to disastrous things. Like some people, they take things to become that happiness, and then it overdoses that happiness. Does that make sense? So just, like become a balanced being. And but when I'm saying all this, doesn't mean that I have that all this. We are all in the same boat, looking for that happiness. Yeah, and my boat is a little bit leaky at times.
I don't know if this is a good question to ask you, but I keep thinking of dogs and how they are so happy all the time. All the time. And I want to relate that to why we can't be on that plane. Like I know you probably don't have an answer for it, but I'd like to pick your brain and
With
see what your thoughts are.
We do, in my family, we do have a dog, and the dog, Cody, he does bring a lot of happiness. But then at the same time, there are dogs in the third world country, doesn't have that same state of being. So it's, it's state of, what is that? It's all relative. The dogs in the West are like super, what is that called? Looked after and groomed, and they do bring so much love. And but at the same time, the stray dogs in India on the street, they do bring lots of happiness for those beings who. But then when you see them, they haven't been fed for 3-4 days. So would they be happy not being fed for those 3 days? So it's relative, I think. The happiness is relative where we are in. So if you know a dog saving place in India, please help them out. Yeah.
So there have been a lot of reports. There have been a lot of reports and evidence of people having near-death experiences where they go somewhere and then they come back and have profound experiences while they were gone. And I'm wondering how that relates to reincarnation. How do you feel that has a connection?
It would be similar to being in, we do that, we do face those things even in the dream state as well. And near-death experiences, a lot of the time, I think not only physically experiencing it, but half of your life actually you live in the dream state. So the near-death dreams, most of beings would have actually experienced it already. And whether you physically experience it as during the daytime or in the dream state, because half of your life you live in the dream world, and it's as important. It's very short time to talk about all this thing, but yeah, it's as important as the life, the daytime experience that you live in. And I just wanted to announce, please do, there is Songs from the Pardo, an album called Songs from the Pardo, Bardo. And it's a very beautiful album. It's on YouTube. I don't know what the record company will do, but I have put the whole album on YouTube for free, so it's a 90-minute piece. Please go and listen to it. Bardo, Pardo, Songs from the Pardo. And I think you will enjoy it. It's a, I'll take one more question, and then I think
Have you got any proof for reincarnation that you can tell us about?
I'm the proof. I can confidently say I am the proof, and then scientists can come and check on my brain and whatever they want to do, that's fine. I will, if a scientist wants to do it, I'm happy to be the guinea pig. Okay, we'll call with that. That's a good way to end.
Okay, a big thank you. What a treat that was. And I have a few comments that I wanted to make, and partly I think because our Western culture doesn't really like to talk about death too much. So congratulations for all of you to be here for a start. And you could see the ease with which Tenzing could talk about it, which says something about your belief in reincarnation and life and death, living joyously. Some of the things I noticed, though, both he and Gordy agreed on was music could certainly help in the healing, not only in death but in life in all sorts of ways. They both talked about mapping emotions and tapping into emotions, but not in Tenzing's case, not becoming the emotion. And Gordy talked about the looping of the music and getting into the feeling and finding her creativity through that way. They both talked about the depth of the feelings. Tenzing talked about it was the most joyous thing to fill your grief with gratitude and compassion as well. And she talked about grief being a deeply rich experience, that although there might be great sadness, there was a huge richness in that whole experience. But there are a couple of things that Tenzing talked about that Gordy didn't seem to talk about. One was death as a spiritual practice, living it in each moment and knowing each moment has passed to the next, preparing yourself for the big death. That seemed to me a really profound thought. And the final one was about reincarnation. And I loved it when he said, and his parents are probably dancing at Woodford now. So let's give one more big clap to Tenzing. And now go out with each footstep, dance each moment as a spiritual practice, preparing for the big one. Thank you.